Let me be direct. We are in the midst of a rupture, not a transition. Over the past 2 decades, a series of crises in finance, health, energy, and geopolitics have laid bare the risks of extreme global integration. But more recently, great powers have begun using economic integration as weapons. Tariffs as leverage, financial infrastructure as coercion, supply chains as vulnerabilities to be exploited.
Mark Carney's speech at Davos caught the attention of Donald Trump. Hi, I'm Brian Lilley, political columnist for the Toronto Sun. Donald Trump in Davos, day after Mark Carney spoke, and while he was talking an awful lot about Greenland, he also talked about Canada in the context of Canada, in his view, being a freeloader. Here's what he had to say about our country and the speech given by Mark Carney the day before as he was discussing the need to take Greenland for national security so we could build the Golden Dome and protect Canada.
We're building a Golden Dome that's going to, just by its very nature, going to be defending Canada. Canada gets a lot of freebies from us, by the way. They should be grateful also, but they're not. I watched your Prime Minister yesterday. He wasn't so grateful. But they should be grateful to us. Canada lives because of the United States. Remember that, Mark, the next time you make your statements.
Now, Trump's speech went on for more than an hour. He also said he wouldn't use force in Greenland. He talked about what he says are his accomplishments, the economy, talked about grievances, lots of stuff. But this is the interesting part for us in this country, his comments about Canada. Carney's speech was definitely a shot at the United States and their decision to walk away from the rules-based international order. Now, stop being the leader of it. Carney's speech is being described as masterful by his supporters, that it's wonderful, but it's also got some criticism. Well, from myself and my column in the Toronto Sun, but also people like Michael Kovrig, who, former diplomat, one of the two Michaels held by China. He's been critical of Carney's pivot towards China. And while he says that this is an incredibly powerful speech, here's what he also posted on X. There's just one problem. It also has the most subversively horrifying subtext by a Western world leader who is not Trump that I've read in a very long time. The subtext in Carney's speech was an awful lot of criticism of the United States, shadowboxing, as one person put it, shadowboxing the United States, but letting China and Russia, who both claimed to be part of the rules-based order, but walked away from it years, if not decades ago. They abused the system. But Mark Carney has no critique of them, only of the United States. And he was just recently in China, where he met with President Xi and signed a new agreement. He calls China a strategic partner, a more reliable partner than the United States. This is an odd way for Mark Carney to spend the last week diplomatically. When he's with Donald Trump, is slavish in his praise for him. He goes out of his way. It's actually a little nauseating how he goes on and on about how great Trump is. But then when he's not with him, when he's not in his presence, he's constantly taking shots. He did in Beijing. He did in Davos.
Now, Canada was amongst the first to hear the wake-up call, leading us to fundamentally shift our strategic posture. Canadians know that our old, comfortable assumptions that our geography and alliance memberships automatically conferred prosperity and security, that assumption is no longer valid.
He'll do so again now that he's back in Ottawa. This is not something that's going to help us out as we're working towards a new trade agreement with the United States. The Americans are noticing what's going on with Canada and China. They're noticing Mark Carney's words, and Donald Trump has made it clear that he's not too fond of them. Well, we don't have to be grateful to the United States, as Trump says, but we shouldn't be going around and needlessly picking fights with our biggest trading partner and the country that we are still an ally of while we're trying to get a trade deal renegotiated with Kuzma. Let me know what you think. Drop a comment down below, share this on social media, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel.